She who knows herself becomes unshakable. Welcome back, spicy ladies. Today we are peeling back the quiet mystery of a presence so powerful it doesn't ask for attention. It receives it without permission. The Sigma female doesn't follow the current. She is the current. She moves without noise, but the world notices. She enters a room and gravity shifts, not because of how she looks, but because of what she emits. So why do people stare? Why do strangers pause in her presence, unsure whether to admire, approach, or withdraw? This isn't just about behavior. It's about energy, about the unseen codes that only a few women carry and even fewer understand. In today's episode, I'll reveal 10 deeply hidden, rarely spoken, soul-level reasons why eyes are drawn to Sigma females. And before we begin, if you find value in the soft strength, quiet power, and wild grace of the Sigma way, subscribe to Wisdom Ways, where we don't just speak, we listen between the words. 1. The stillness signal. In a world addicted to noise, distraction, and motion, the stillness of a Sigma female stands out like a candle in a storm. Stillness isn't just the absence of noise. It's a presence all its own. And when she enters a room, she doesn't demand attention. She absorbs it quietly, completely. Her energy doesn't rush to fill spaces. It waits. It rests. And that alone unsettles people. Society is wired to expect movement. Women especially are conditioned to smile, to nod, to show they're engaged. But the Sigma female, she simply is. She doesn't fill silences out of fear. She honors them. That stillness, unshaken, unbothered, is perceived as confidence, even dominance. People stare because stillness isn't passive in her. It's alive. It's chosen. It's sacred. There's a rare kind of self-trust that lives in a woman who doesn't flinch to fill space. And that trust, that quiet self-possession, makes others question their own. Many find it beautiful. Some find it intimidating, but few can look away. They look for cracks, for signs that she's unsure, pretending, or faking it. But they find none, so they keep staring, drawn in by something they can't quite name. Stillness in a Sigma isn't silence out of shyness. It's power with no need to explain itself. And in that space, people project all kinds of stories. Mystery, arrogance, depth, danger, divinity. Some want to uncover it. Some want to conquer it. Some just want to understand it. But no one forgets it. The Sigma stillness speaks not loudly, but clearly. It says, I know who I am, and the world can't help but pause to listen. Right now, if you are still watching, I hope this video can help you. Your comments motivate me so much, so I can make more videos which you like. So hit that subscribe button and leave me a message. Let's continue. 2. Magnetic indifference. There's something paradoxically irresistible about someone who doesn't care if you're watching. The Sigma female carries a kind of sovereign indifference. Not coldness, but freedom. She isn't rude. She's simply unavailable to anything that isn't real. And that unavailability, it drives people wild. We live in a world where attention is currency. Validation is traded like gold. Everyone wants to be seen, liked, followed. But the Sigma female, she's not playing that game. Her self-worth doesn't swing with the approval of others. She's not looking to impress. She's not waiting to be chosen. She's already chosen herself. And that changes everything. Her indifference isn't apathy. It's clarity. She knows what she values and what she doesn't. She doesn't engage in shallow conversation just to seem polite. She doesn't smile to be liked. She doesn't entertain drama. And that boundary, it creates a gravitational pull. People don't understand why they want her attention so badly, why they feel off balance around her, why being seen by her feels like an honor, even when she says nothing. Her magnetic indifference isn't about withholding. It's about self-containment. She doesn't leak energy. She keeps it close. She doesn't overshare. She guards her interior world like a temple. And people stare because they want to be invited in. They sense that being noticed by her is rare, valuable, honest. And in a world full of fake charm and performative friendliness, her realness is intoxicating. The truth is the Sigma female doesn't need you to like her. But the more she doesn't need it, the more people want to give it. That's the paradox of her power. And that's why you'll find eyes following her long after she's walked away. 3. Unfiltered gaze. Eye contact is one of the most primal forms of communication. We all feel it. That quick glance, that held stare, that flicker of connection. Most people either look away too quickly or hold eye contact too long, making it awkward or confrontational. But a Sigma female, she meets your eyes with intention and without performance. Her gaze is unfiltered. It doesn't seek approval. It doesn't apologize. It doesn't flirt unless it wants to. That gaze is pure presence. And when she looks at someone, she sees. People aren't used to being truly seen. They're used to people watching them with judgment, expectation, or agenda. But the Sigma's gaze, it's quiet, steady, disarming. It says, I'm here and I'm not pretending. And it makes people uncomfortable, not because it's threatening, but because it's honest. Some see clarity in it. Others feel exposed. A few feel deeply understood, even in silence. People stare at her not just because of how she looks, but because of how she looks back. There's no neediness in her eyes. No fear, no attempt to please. That unflinching honesty holds power. She doesn't scan for how to fit in. She scans for what's real, and that unnerves those who aren't. Her eyes often say more than her words. They carry discernment, wisdom, and something deeper, like she knows a truth you're not ready to hear yet. And the thing is, she probably does. For many, that experience is magnetic. For others, confronting. Either way, it's unforgettable. That's why people look and look again. They're trying to read the language in her silence and the meaning behind her eyes. But the Sigma female doesn't stare to intimidate. She simply doesn't flinch from the human experience. She sees and lets herself be seen without shrinking. That's rare, and rare is always remembered. For aura of solitude. Solitude is often mistaken for sadness. But for the Sigma female, solitude is her sanctuary, her element. She doesn't avoid people because she's wounded. She chooses space because it helps her heal. Her solitude isn't isolation. It's sovereignty. She enjoys her own company. Her inner world is rich, layered, and deeply alive. When others crave constant stimulation or external validation, she finds nourishment in stillness, in nature, in journaling, in her rituals. And that gives her an aura that's unmistakable. It's not aloof. It's contained. She doesn't need you to complete her. And that unsettles people who believe connection only happens through dependence. People stare because they don't know what to make of someone who doesn't try to impress. She's not desperate for attention, but she commands it. She doesn't announce her worth, but it's felt. The Sigma's solitude is sacred. She doesn't overshare her life on impulse. She doesn't chase people. She doesn't try to keep up with the crowd. Instead, she curates her space mentally, emotionally, physically with deep care. That energy is rare and it's powerful. She walks like she has nothing to prove. She speaks like she's in no rush. She loves but doesn't cling. She listens but doesn't perform empathy. People are drawn to her calm. They wonder how she does it, how she's okay being alone, how she seems untouched by the chaos around her. Some admire it, others envy it. The truth is her solitude is not a shield. It's a compass. It keeps her aligned, present, whole. And the more the world stares, the more she returns inward, not as escape, but as home. 5. Contradiction in motion. The Sigma female is a walking paradox, and paradoxes make people pause. She's soft yet firm, feminine yet untouchable, empathic yet detached, warm but not open to everyone. She floats through a room like a poem, delicate in presence yet sharp in perception. That contradiction keeps people watching. They try to place her in a category, but she slips through every label. One moment she's serene, the next she's strategic. One conversation she listens deeply, the next she vanishes for days. She's not inconsistent. She's multidimensional. People stare because their brains are searching for patterns, and the Sigma breaks them. She doesn't fit into the usual stereotypes. Not the girl next door, not the seductress, not the rebel, not the people pleaser. She's bits of all and yet none. That complexity fascinates and confuses. She's not hiding. She's simply unedited. And that honesty can be jarring. She allows herself to be layered, unpolished, real. She's nurturing without being motherly, sexy without performing it, wise without arrogance, and all of it without asking for permission. People stare because she challenges what they think a woman should be. She isn't trying to be different. She is different naturally, deeply, undeniably, and it shows in the way she moves, deliberate but free. Her walk carries intention, not attention-seeking. Her energy says, "I'm here and I'm not available for small talk." When someone tries to define her, she simply shifts. She's not trying to be mysterious, but life has carved stories into her that can't be summed up in a single sentence. So they stare because they want to understand her, and she lets them wonder because she has no interest in shrinking her soul to satisfy surface-level curiosity. 6. Echo of mystery. Mystery isn't just about what's hidden. It's about what's sacred. And the Sigma female is fluent in the language of sacredness. She doesn't reveal herself easily, not out of manipulation, but out of discernment. People mistake her quietness for secrecy, but it's something much deeper. She's private, not because she's hiding, but because she knows the value of what she carries. Her stories, her thoughts, her emotions, these are not public property. They are kept close, shared slowly, given only to those who have earned them. And that careful protection creates an echo, a sense of there's more here. Even when she's silent, people sense depth in her. And that depth is magnetic. It suggests pain, wisdom, joy, and something beyond words. Her mystery is not a mask. It's a mirror. It reflects back to people their desire to feel, to understand, to know. And when they realize she won't easily let them in, they stare harder. They lean in. They chase what they can't grasp. In a culture of oversharing, the Sigma female's mystery is revolutionary. She doesn't post every moment. She doesn't explain every mood. She doesn't open up on command. That resistance to emotional exposure makes her feel ancient, like something timeless. People may call her cold when really she's sacred. She honors herself. She doesn't perform vulnerability. She doesn't give access to those who only want entertainment. She knows the difference between intimacy and attention, and she never confuses the two. People stare because they want what she offers, but few are willing to meet her at the level she requires. So her mystery echoes, not to tease, not to seduce, but to remind. Some things are only revealed in silence over time to the worthy. 7. Unbothered body language. The Sigma female doesn't announce herself with loud gestures. She doesn't dominate a room by taking up space. She owns her presence in a way that makes people feel it, not just see it. Her body language is subtle but powerful. Shoulders relaxed, eyes steady, movements minimal but intentional. There's no fidgeting, no overcompensation, no overdone expressions. She communicates comfort in her own skin without saying a word. That kind of ease is unsettling for some because most people are used to decoding insecurity, the anxious smile, the tapping foot, the constant nodding. But with her, there's none of that. And that's why people stare. They're looking for the tell, the signal of self-doubt. But all they find is calm. Her unbothered posture sends a message. I don't need to perform for you to exist. She doesn't fold her arms out of defense. She does it out of comfort. She doesn't force eye contact. She holds it when it matters. Her gestures are deliberate, not exaggerated. She moves slowly, confidently, like her body is aligned with her spirit. People often assume that charisma must be loud, expressive, big. But the Sigma's charisma is internal. It's a quiet gravity that draws attention without effort. Even the way she stands says something. I belong here. I don't owe you anything, but I'm not hiding either. She doesn't shrink in awkwardness. She doesn't inflate to impress. She simply is, and her body reflects that. And that presence, it's rare. It's mature. It's grounded. That's why people stare longer than they mean to. They're reading a language they didn't know existed. One of calm assertion, silent elegance, and unshakable self-trust. 8. Time sovereignty. There's a subtle rebellion in the way a Sigma female moves through time. She's not rushed, not reactive, not caught in the swirl of urgency that defines most people's lives. She moves slowly, not out of laziness but intention. She understands the weight of a pause, the power of stillness, the dignity of saying, "I'll get to it when it aligns." People stare because that rhythm feels unnatural in a world addicted to speed. The Sigma female doesn't panic when the world moves fast. She doesn't hustle just to be seen, hustling. She chooses her moments with precision, grace, and calm defiance. Time bends around her. She sets her own pace, and in doing so, she unsettles people who think worth must be proven through burnout. Her pace says, "I am not afraid of missing out. I'm afraid of missing myself." That kind of sovereignty makes people watch closely. She walks slower. She speaks with pause. She responds instead of reacting. This unnerves the frantic, the people pleasers, the approval seekers. Her slowness isn't laziness. It's power. Power to say no. Power to rest. Power to move only when it's right. And in her presence, people become aware of their own disconnection. They wonder, why am I rushing? Why can't I breathe like that? She's not competing. She's not trying to catch up. She's already where she's meant to be. And she knows it. Time sovereignty is the art of moving like you belong, even when no one else slows down. That's why eyes follow her. Not because she demands attention, but because she reminds them of something lost, the right to slow down and still be whole. 9. The sacred no. Most people struggle with no. They say it with guilt, with apology, with explanations and long stories to justify their boundary. Not the Sigma female. Her no is sacred, soft, but solid, kind, but not bendable, grounded, not defensive. She doesn't need to be loud to be clear. She doesn't decorate her refusal with false kindness or nervous laughter. She just says it and that's enough. People stare because her no disrupts expectations. They're used to women saying yes just to keep the peace, to avoid being disliked, labeled difficult, or made to feel selfish. But the Sigma female rewrites that script. She says no to overextending herself, to draining conversations, to shallow friendships, to emotional manipulation. And she does it with a grace that is final. She doesn't explain herself because she's already lived enough to know not every door deserves to be opened. Not every connection deserves her energy. That calm refusal makes people pause. Sometimes they're offended. Sometimes they're impressed. But always they're watching because she models something rare. A woman whose worth is not up for negotiation. Her boundaries are not walls. They're invitations to meet her in truth. She's not afraid to walk away. And that quiet exit, it echoes. People stare because her no feels like a mirror. It shows them where they betray themselves by saying yes too much. It reminds them that they too could live without guilt. If only they were as sovereign. The sacred no isn't a rejection. It's a declaration. My peace is not up for trade. 10. Soul-crafted presence. There's a kind of presence that doesn't shout. It doesn't sparkle with effort. It doesn't seek approval, likes, or applause. It just is. And that is the Sigma female. She's not performing identity. She's embodying alignment. Her presence is soul-crafted. Every decision she makes, from what she wears to how she speaks, is shaped by her values, her spirit, her quiet knowing. People stare because they sense that even if they don't understand it, they feel that she is not acting out of reaction, but out of truth, that she has built herself piece by piece with care and intention. Her softness wasn't handed to her. It was earned often through fire. She's not polished in the conventional way. She's radiant in a way that says, I've come home to myself. Her voice isn't the loudest, but when she speaks, people listen. Her fashion isn't trendy, but it's felt. Her energy isn't bubbly, it's grounding. People stare not because she is flashy, but because she is real. Real is rare. Rare is unforgettable. She doesn't show off. She shows up not to impress, but to exist fully. And in doing so, she gives others permission to do the same. That kind of presence lingers. You don't always remember what she said, but you remember how you felt in her presence, safe, seen, like maybe you too could return to yourself. If this spoke to you, if you felt a quiet yes somewhere deep inside, then maybe it's time. Not for another hustle, not for another plan, but for a pause, for a return. Choose Yourself Softly is not a manual. It's a mirror for the woman who has learned to carry herself through fire without turning hard. It's for the one who's done shrinking, done explaining, done betraying her own rhythm to please a world that's too loud. This book is a whisper, a touch, a remembering. It invites you back to the center of you, to the still sacred ground you never lost, only quieted. If your soul is craving softness with edges, presence without apology, boundaries wrapped in calm, the invitation is waiting. The link is in the description and in the first pinned comment. Take it if it feels like yours. So, spicy ladies, not every stare is judgment. Sometimes it's reverence, sometimes confusion, and sometimes it's the soul of another recognizing the quiet flame in yours. Thank you for holding space with me today. If this resonated, even just a whisper, consider subscribing to Spicy Ladies Group. We don't chase the noise. We listen to what the silence is saying. Stay true to yourself. To all the spicy ladies, make life beautiful. Thank you for watching, and God bless.